Hello, this is Ed Burke with PlaceForTraders.com for Monday, March 30th. Just a quick note, I'm going to talk about more numbers than I usually do in my video, so anybody watching, you may want to grab a pen and a piece of paper, or of course you can watch it multiple times, but just want to give you the heads up. Starting off in the June S&P, in my last video I talked about the pivot level of 823.5. being our guide to the direction of the market. Above 823.5 is considered bullish. Below 823.5 bearish. At the first line of support at 815. The second line of support at 804. Now, early on after the regular session opened, the market made an attempt at going to go at the pivot at it went as high as 821, staying under our 823.5 pivot level. The market traded lower all day, ultimately finishing at 816.10, down 11.20. Now, the low of the day was 809.5. That close at 816.10 was right near that first line of support at 815. Now, of course, this was Friday's session. You can see illustrated the market closed lower. If you remember in my last video, I talked about that weekly 18 period moving average at 832.5 being very important. We hadn't crossed that in almost a year now, and the last two little bump ups or rallies, if you would, over the last year, we went to that 18 period moving average. We stayed just under it, and then the market sold off and continued to go to lower lows. Now, in my last video, I talked about that level. I go, in all likelihood, it looks like we might cross over that 832.5 level for the June S&P with that strong close on Thursday. The market went to 830.5, and it had that real strong close. It closed near the high of the day. Of course, Friday session, the overnight session went to, the high was 829.60, but like I said, on the regular session open, the market only got up to 821 and ultimately finished 11.20 lower. So far, that 18 period moving average, we went right to it and failed thus far. I have the monthly first line of resistance at 831.5 also. So that 831.5 first line of monthly resistance, like I said, that 18 period weekly moving average at 832.5, they were both in line so far with the high on Thursday at 830.50, and we failed so far. But of course, we watch these levels, but we let price dictate what action we would take. Some other significant numbers. I also talked in that last video about the market being above all weekly resistance. We closed above that second line of weekly resistance on Thursday at 820. The second line of weekly resistance was 824.5. Now this lower close on Friday, we're below that second line of weekly resistance. We're inside that second line of weekly resistance. Just to take note, that first line of weekly resistance is way down at 795.5. So you might want to write that down. Second line of weekly resistance 824.5. First line of weekly resistance 795.5. Okay, now for the numbers for Monday. I'm looking at the pivot of 818.5. Above 818.5 is considered bullish. Below 818.5 a bearish market. Mind you, we closed on Friday at 816.10. So that's our pivot at 818.5. First line of support I'm looking at 807. Second line of support 799. So that second line of daily support at 799 is close to that first line of weekly resistance down at 795.5. For resistance, daily resistance, I'm looking at the first line of resistance for Monday 828. Second line of resistance at 839. There are no scheduled economic numbers for Monday. That's all I have for this evening. Thanks for tuning in. If you haven't gone to my website as of yet, it's placefortraders.com. Thanks a lot for tuning in, and good